Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Here we are to preview. Well, I don't really need to say what we're here to preview, really, do I? It's the biggest match of the year of 2021, unless you can think the Copa America's bigger. But I am here joined by Nima Tavallaey Roodsari, founder of Sempreinter.com, 1/3 of the Italian Football Podcast, just football journalist extraordinaire. Friend Nima, welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks, Zio Sharma. It's good to be on with you, Sharma.
Yeah, of course. We've been friends for a while, but we haven't spoke to each other on my channel or on the live stream. But I got you on for the biggest match, man. The biggest match for of the last 8 years for Italy, for the Azzurri, since the 2012 European Championship final. And obviously you live in Sweden, so your first team is Sweden, right? But
No.
Okay, explain your allegiance.
I've never really supported Sweden on an international level. It's always been Iran and Italy for me.
There you go.
And but I mean, when it comes to club level, it's Inter and it's my home team, local team, IFK Gothenburg. That's who I support.
Yeah, no, so that's why I got you on, because I know you're a massive, Azzurri fan, Azzurri connoisseur. Of course, you've done your preview on your podcast. Yeah. So what's your feeling going into this massive game? Because Italy and England, to me, have been the two best teams of the tournament. Maybe not, visually, you could say England haven't been playing the most visually attractive football, but Italy for sure have been playing beautiful, attacking, free-flowing football for most of the tournament, apart from the last match against Spain. The two most convincing teams, and I feel like they both deserve to be here. What do you think of that?
No, I think that's a fair assessment. Obviously, Spain struggled in the group stages, and they struggled in the group stage, especially against Sweden. I thought Sweden should have won that game. Didn't like how some of the substitutions were made, because I think Spain were there for the taking. But having said that, I mean, I think the way I look at it is this: I think Spain showed, for me, against Italy, that semi-final, more than anything, it was a tactical win for Luis Enrique. One of the things that everyone's been critical of Roberto Mancini since the days he was at Inter the first time is his inability to change matches as they're going on. He doesn't have a plan B. He rarely has a plan B. He can't change the how a game looks tactically. He's always struggled with that. He's a plan A. He only has one plan A, one plan. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well, then you're screwed. And we saw that a lot with Inter, and we've seen that a lot at Man City. We saw that throughout his coaching career, and that's one of the weaknesses he has, his inability to change games mid game. And what Luis Enrique did was brilliant, because what he decided to do was to basically play with a false nine, and they were 6-3 in midfield.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with Dani Olmo. They did not know what to do with him.
No, because he found the perfect space between, Chiellini and Bonucci were basically ball watching for throughout the game, because they had no one to mark. And whenever someone came at them, it was with speed and pace, with the ball at their feet, having options on the wings to play, which made Bonucci and Chiellini very nervous, and they were exhausted and struggled. And they have to say they got a lot of criticism from people, but to me, that they did an absolute. It was a heroic performance by them, because they were in a very difficult position. And for me, Spain, should have probably won that game. They were better than Italy. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. I think they were unlucky. I thought Italy. This is twice now that Mancini's, has counted on luck, as Mourinho always says. I'd rather be a lucky coach and win than a good coach and lose. And Mancini has been throughout this tournament a lucky coach, especially against Belgium, where his substitutions gave away the initiative to Belgium, and again did the same thing against Spain. Only the difference is that this is not an Italy side who knows how to defend like that. They're not built like that. These players don't have those traits. That midfield is built to retain possession and create, not to defend deep, and like Italy did historically have done. And so when you bring off Emerson Palmieri and bring in Toloi, when you take off Ciro Immobile immediately after you score a goal, and you bring in Domenico Berardi as kind of like and put Lorenzo Insigne like a false nine, those were wrong decisions. I think that substitution should have come sooner, given how the game was looking. But when you score that goal, you keep Ciro Immobile on the pitch because that's his strength, lying, going against the last man, trying to play the offside trap against space. Instead, Italy were disjointed, confused, and it was only a matter of time before Spain scored. And then Italy looked like dead men walking, and were lucky not to concede until the end of the first half of extra time. And then Mancini brought on Locatelli, Pessina, Belotti, and Italy found their shape again and started to dominate possession and started to regain the rhythm. Because to me, it wasn't just the tactical thing. It was also an aspect that Spain's high intensity passing and high pressure is something that this Italy side was struggling with a lot. And as Spain grew tired and couldn't maintain that high intensity, that allowed Italy to come into the game. That's why the 33rd minute is such a key moment when Emerson Palmieri and Insigne are able to break through Spain's pressing and high passing and create a chance. Up until then, it was just there was only one team on the pitch. So that's a good thing. I mean, obviously, in terms of morale for Italy to have withstood being outplayed pretty much and win. But this is England now, and England are much more tactically shrewd. Gareth Southgate has shown that he is much more tactically shrewd than people give him credit for. I think the game against Germany, even though I think Jogi Löw completely botched that game and England were there for the taking.
Yeah, they were.
Then that still showed that he has a group of players that he trusts and trust him, and that he has a lot of tools in his toolbox to counter teams. I expect England to play Italy the same way they played Germany. I expect Harry Kane to drift a little bit wide and shift position with Raheem Sterling to sort of get his speed to cut into the middle, and go at Chiellini and Bonucci with speed. That's what I expect them to do. Similar to it's kind of a mixture between what they did against Germany and what Spain did against Italy. But in terms of high intensity pressing, they can do that. But the passing, England aren't skilled. No one is as skilled as Spain is in terms of that high intensity passing. There just isn't. Not even Brazil can maintain and play like that today. They are in a league of their own, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's you've done the whole preview there in the last.
Sorry,
no, that was you're spot on. And that one of the points that you're making. Someone's asked a question there. By the way, I'm not wearing an England shirt. It's just a white t-shirt.
Sharma, the traitor, Uncle Sharma.
What are the chances that England can do as Spain, as in play quick passes up the tempo against the slow Italian
this
side?
Notion that Italy are slow, I'm sorry, where does this come from? This is not true.
I think that's the stereotype that people are still having about Italy. I think if you tune into any of the games apart from the Spain one, you would understand that this Italy team is far from a slow team.
It's incredibly dynamic.
The question I think is worth is right. I think in terms of, as you talked about, we're struggling in Spain, the high press, the passing against Austria as well. They came fearlessly towards Italy and pressed and were physical. So I feel like England would remind me more of the Austria team, how Austria dealt with Italy. Would you say that you would be worried if England come and press Italy with their high press and their physicality?
Well, I think that's why I said that England will use the same game plan as against Germany, because that's pretty much, it's very similar to how Austria played against Italy. They will defend pretty deep.
Yeah.
They will defend pretty deep, but they will press Italy down the middle. They will shrink space. They will make it really tight down the middle of the pitch and park. But having said that, they are at home. They are at Wembley. And England will be expected to attack as well. It's not going to be like Austria full on all the way. But I do think that they are going to. I think England are, as I said, it's going to be a mixed bag of game plans for them. Yeah, no. So I think that England will. England cannot. No team in the world can play a passing game like Spain. It's just no one can. Italy and Brazil come the closest. Maybe even France on a good day, like they come the closest to playing like that, but no one else can. I mean, this is the modern new Spanish football. No one can do that. What they do, this tiki taka, high intensity triangle passing with the ball with the ball in control. No one comes near them. That's just Spain in a league of their own. England won't be able to do that, and I don't think Gareth Southgate would ever risk in a final to do something like that, like crazy like that. I think, however, what he will do, learn from the Spain game, is try to get Harry Kane out, for him to push out and not play so deep and not play so centrally. I think it'll be a lot of positional changes between him and Raheem Sterling, for Sterling to use his pace to cut in from the wings to attack those two, Bonucci and Chiellini, with the ball with pace. That's what I'm expecting, to kind of force Italy to rip them apart a little bit centrally, because I think Italy will be very compact in defense, and that's what I expect. When I say they will use the blueprint against Spain, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I actually think England going to play with a back three. I really think he's going to revert to playing a 3-4-2-1,
like he did against Germany.
Yeah, exactly. Because that way he will completely neutralize whoever plays in that number 9 role, whether it's Belotti or Ciro Immobile, because Harry Maguire will not lose a single challenge against either one of those two. He won't lose a single challenge in the air, period. It's just, he's been an absolute beast in the air. And same with Stones. And I think Walker and Stones will be, especially Walker, will be used to kind of neutralize Insigne for speed, because he's really fast. So I think it's going to be a back three, and I think they will try to they will play rather deep, and they will have Rice and Kelvin Phillips to some extent.
Yorkshire Pale and Basmati Rice.
Yeah, they will try to, together with those three, they will shrink space down the middle, and then you'll have whoever's on wing back position, essentially. I think it will be Luke Shaw, and one out of Trippier or whoever they got, but essentially it'll be like a back five in defense. That's what I'm expecting, because he knows that he can't match Italy. Southgate's clever. He knows that he can't match Italy for possession. So what matters then is control. Where do they have the possession? And if they have it in tight spaces in the middle or on the wings without being able to break through England's lines, that's safe. That gives England the opportunity to break high up and counter, which I think is what they'll do. And the key will be Sterling, Keane, and if it's Jadon Sancho or whoever plays next to, just behind Harry Kane.
Yeah, I think he'll stick with Saka, just because,
as
you said,
probably.
because he's almost like having a wing back on the team, because he's such a versatile player, and he did a great job with Mæhle against Denmark, doubling up with Walker, and as you said, Kane dropping into the hole, and some of those balls he was putting in against Denmark, playing that Spurs role he does with Son and Lucas, whoever in those runs, Sterling and Saka were killing Denmark in behind. So many times they go in behind the Denmark with the Kane's balls. It's like having a attacking midfielder. He's almost like a trequartista when he plays some of those balls in behind the defense. So do you think that false nine, we saw when Morata came on as well against Spain, like that, he played as a false nine as well, pretty much. No one knows how to pick him up. Does Jorginho go to pick him up, but he's already busy with the other midfielders? It's going to be, I think that's going to be Mancini's main issue, like finding a way to deal with
that's got to be, it's going to be zonal. I mean, so far we've seen Italy kind of do a mix of zonal and man marking, as they always do.
Yeah.
But I think that but against Spain, it was impossible for them to man mark because of the way Spain set up. But I think it's going to be Chiellini's job to keep Harry Kane quiet whenever or whoever is, when he's in that position centrally. I do see that him and Sterling will be changing positions quite a lot. So again, it will be very important for Italy to be able to read the game, and whoever's close by to the closest player, when Sterling cuts in,
Yeah.
Do you let him go? Do you shift over to whoever centrally? Barella, for example, I think is going to be key here.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do. I hope Di Lorenzo out a lot.
Yeah, him and Di Lorenzo are going to have to watch out a lot. And I think together with Chiellini, whenever he cuts in, just to get the timing right, the timing and the shifting of the movements right, that'll be absolute key for Italy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what do you make of Sterling in the last match? He completed 10 dribbles in the match, I think, which is the record. He beat Jeremy Doku's record against the Italy match. Are you worried about Sterling against Di Lorenzo, Saka, or whoever against Emerson? Are fullbacks being isolated?
Well, I don't think the fullbacks will be isolated. I think Verratti and Barella will be key in this, to help out, so that and also Insigne or Chiesa as well, because they will all have to help out and in tracking back. This is not going to be one of those games where they can just leave it to one or two. They have to work as a unit, and that's something that they've done. You got to hand it to them. I think, even though this Italy side is known for its possession and positive quote unquote football, they're very organized in defense. They attack as a unit and they defend as a unit.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really key. I think Insigne and Chiesa on either wing, together with Barella and Verratti, will be key to neutralize England's threats from Saka and Sterling. And I can't see who you've got starting there, but I mean, if he plays a 3-4-2-1, it'll be who do you have as a second number 10? For England,
so I've got Mason Mount here. If he's
that's a good shout. He could do that. That would be that would be to kind of win the ball.
Because he drops in, he becomes one of the midfielders when they're out of possession. So he is like a 3 midfield when they drop out of possession.
No, I think they'll defend like a 5-4-1 without the ball, and then attack in a 3-4-2-1. So I think Mason Mount's a good shout. That's a very good shout.
Yeah, and I'm actually the one battle that I'm worried about. Obviously not technically, but physically, just these two here. I know it sounds a bit like a caveman guy. From down the pub. They'll smash him. But these two are big units compared to especially Jorginho and Verratti. And I've been impressed with them on a technical level as well. Not on they're not spraying balls around like 60-70 yards, but they're doing the basics right, and they're winning a lot of balls back from the midfield. So I'm actually quite worried about losing the midfield battle again as we did against Spain. Am I being too negative there?
No, I think you're raising a very interesting point, given that we expect England to defend deep and play, as you call it, terrorist ball or catenaccio. That's how England are going to play. They're going to play.
Oh, is that what catenaccio means?
Well, I like mine caldo with a little bit of parmesan, but no, but seriously, I expect England to play, defend very deep and hit on the counter. That's pretty much what I expect them to do, which is traditionally what Italy have done.
It's a very Italian way of playing, isn't it? The Southgate, he's kind of found the way of playing is very pragmatic.
Well, he's very pragmatic. He's playing with his brain. He's got, and also more importantly, he's got the team. This English team playing with their brains, using their heads more than their hearts. And that's why England are doing so well under him. Yeah. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you for the support. But
didn't we have a question there?
Someone who's going to be at Wembley on Sunday. Well done, Umberto. Well done for securing tickets. Did you sell your kidney to get those tickets? Gagliardini, your mate Johan's there.
No, well, I don't know. Yeah, no, Philip. I think
the Bielsa tutelage has done him wonders, hasn't it? Like, I read that he had covered 15 kilometers against Denmark, which is the record for the tournament. Like, that guy's an absolute machine. Oh, 90 pounds. Yeah, that's not too bad actually.
That's really good. That's well done. Well done, man.
Man, I should have tried to get some.
Should we talk about that? We've got a question I see here on
whereabouts
Mount.
Wait, let me scroll up. Indro Hari dropped it in before we even started. We spoke about it briefly before we came on, or earlier on today. So a lot of people are comparing Barella to Mason Mount, and Nima disagrees very strongly. I can see the comparison, but on a very simplistic level. What do you make of this?
Look, the reason why I don't agree with that comparison at all is because Mason, yes, they both have an engine on them. All of that is true. They both run a lot, and they and they play in kind of midfield, central positions. But Mason Mount plays in a more like traditional number 10 role. Barella can play every single role. I mean, to me, if you're going to compare Barella with anyone, you compare him with Kanté, because Barella runs for three people, and he's a physical player, very strong player. I mean, we've seen him at Inter. It's not just that he runs the most out of everyone. He wins most of his challenges. He's a tenacious player. He's also very good defensively as he is in attack. I understand, you look at them, but it's a very simplistic and jingoistic way of looking at it, saying, okay, well, here you have him, but you have Barella, he plays in midfield, he runs a lot. Mason Mount runs a lot. You have in Italy, you have a completely different midfield roles in south of Europe. I mean, in Spain and Italy and Portugal, especially, England never used to produce these kind of players. They are doing it now, and that's why they're doing so well, England. The regista role, the pivote role in Spain, the mezzala role, the incontrista, the trequartista, all of these roles, they mean something. They're not just flashy names. And Mason Mount, to me, is more of a number 10 or trequartista, if you will. Similar. I mean, I'd say he's very similar to Simone. If you remember Simone Perotta in that number 10 role, very dynamic player. Not saying they're equally as good, but in terms of style and characteristic, that's the kind of number 10 role that he's got, that he uses today. I mean, today it's the 9th of July 2021. That's how he's played so far at Chelsea and for England. But I don't see the comparison at all, because in terms of winning the ball, in terms of getting in there and winning balls, and in terms of tenacity, I just don't see it. I really, really don't see it. Maybe he could be one day, but today he certainly isn't.
Yeah, people, it's because he's white, he's kind of similar height, similar build, works hard. Just you know how it is. Just
so Insigne and Messi, peas in a pod.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both white, both of Italian descent from the south of Italy, both really short, both technical.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that definitely covered that question. One question that obviously I was going to ask you, and Ahmadir also brings it up. First of all, lineup wise, I'm assuming we would go with the exact same lineup as we did against Spain. What do you think?
I think this is a good question. I think I would, if possible, without injury, I'd start with exactly the same lineup, except for Immobile, because
really?
Ciro Immobile is not a number 9 in a 4-3-3. He is always, throughout his career, whether it was in Pescara when he had Lorenzo Insigne, Gianluca Caprari next to him when he scored the most goals in the Serie B in that crazy Zeman Pescara side, or when he was at Torino with Alessio Cerci feeding him balls and he became the capocannoniere, or if it's at Lazio with Milinkovic-Savic, Luis Alberto, Caicedo, whoever, he needs to have someone next to him to excel. That's just how the cookie. That's just him as a player. I'm not saying he's bad. I thought actually he was very good against Spain, and that first goal that Chiesa scored was all thanks to Ciro Immobile being the pain in the butt that he can be, keeping 3 Spanish defenders occupied, allowing Chiesa the space to even get that ball. But here he goes up against Harry Maguire, and an England defense that's going to defend deep. Ciro's going to be invisible for 90 minutes. He's not going to get anything to work with, and he's not good at holding the ball up physically. Andrea Belotti is English in that sense. Very physical player, very gritty player. Very, he will get stuck in there with Harry Maguire, and he's also an intelligent player, Belotti. I don't think he gets enough credit for his intelligence. In my opinion, and I think he would cause England problems. I really do. However, if you are in a situation where Italy score the first goal and England have to attack, and Immobile and Belotti is getting tired, then you bring in Ciro Immobile, because then he'll have space to work.
Yeah, I know. The Immobile thing is a very big debate, in Italy and Italians everywhere. But I don't know. To me, Belotti's. I've always been in the Belotti camp over Ciro in the Nazionale. As you said, he just doesn't work as a lone striker. But then when Belotti has been coming on, he's not really shown to me that side of him. There's a couple of times he's done some nice tackles, some nice hold up play. But then when he came on against Spain, he went offside like 3 times, really in a stupid way. Didn't hold up the play. But I know what you mean. When England are going to defend, even if they play like you say, if they're going to go with the 3 centre backs as well, Immobile is not going to get sniff.
He's going to be completely isolated, and when Insigne and Chiesa get the ball, they will need someone to play off of, because England are going to play deep, and Ciro's not good at that. He's not good with his back against the goal. He's a striker that is excellent with faced against the goal, with space and with pace, but not with his back against the goal. That is simply not something he's good at. And I think it would be a waste. I'd rather keep him and have Belotti there be a pain in the butt for Maguire and give him a run for his money physically.
Yeah.
Which we know Belotti is a gritty player. He's a very gritty player. I mean, I think the goal against Austria, the second goal, Pessina's goal, just showed that. He's on the ground, on the floor, fighting with both feet. He doesn't care. He's not Italian in that sense. He's more Scottish, if we want to use stereotypes. He doesn't care. He gets in there. So I'd rather play him. I really, really would. But I don't think Mancini's going to do that, and I think it's a bit of a shame.
No, I think Mancini's going to trust. He's going to be loyal to the players that got him here. I think he's going to start with Immobile, and I'm okay with it. I just don't want him to. If he does start with Immobile and it's not working out, I don't want him to wait too long to make that substitute like he has done last few times. Waiting until the 65th, 70th minute. I think there's no point then, because what are you expecting Belotti to do? Then Belotti's going to come on, run himself ragged, and it just doesn't. He's not an impact substitute, Belotti. He's not going to give you that impact off the bench like that. So if it's not working, you have to make that substitution much earlier, in my opinion.
I mean, to me, Ciro is more of an impact player, because depending on how the game looks. Because if Ciro can come on, I mean, one way to play would be to play 4-3-2-1 even for Italy, or a 4-3-1-2 if you want to do that and free the wing backs, and then put Immobile and Belotti both up there, and then maybe Chiesa as a false number 10 role. We just give him a roaming, or Insigne even. I mean, that's something if when you're panicking and you're chasing a goal, which I absolutely hope doesn't happen.
No,
but but if you're going to go to this game and you're going to play your game plan and try to score the first 2 goals and keep it close shop after that, then I just don't see, because Immobile again with his back against the goal, No. His link-up play, he's good at that at Lazio. But if you look at how, in terms of link-up play at Lazio, look at how tighter Lazio play centrally. When they do that, you've got Roodsari or whoever's on the left overloading the flanks. You have Luis Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic or Caicedo, all Correa, exactly. All shrinking, all moving towards centrally, creating problems for the defense. They don't know who to mark. That way, he's really good at that. Immobile,
I think Mancini's kind of tried it. Especially when Spinazzola was there, he would be so far on the outside that would push Insigne almost
exactly.
as a inside.
Exactly, that will be the key. If Insigne, that's exactly it. If he can do that, and if Emerson Palmieri can do that, then yes, then Ciro for sure all the way, because he's better at that than Belotti. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, no, it's going to be.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen this England team. I mean, only 1 goal conceded on my channel. Whenever I go, whenever I talk about England, everyone's like, it seems to be kind of not really giving them much credit. But 1 goal conceded the whole tournament, and and that was through a phenomenal free kick. That the only free kick of the tournament. So credit, people need to give this England team more credit. I think
absolutely. This is not the England team of old. This is a modern England team, and we've seen that at the level, at youth team level. It's no chance that they keep winning world championships and making finals. It's not by chance, because they're producing modern footballers, especially in midfield and in attack. And I mean, look at Foden and look at Bellingham and look at Sancho and look at even Declan Rice and Phillips, and I mean, these are modern footballers. These aren't the old English style footballers at all. So for me, I mean, ever since I saw this team really in 2018 World Cup, for me it's just a matter of time before they win something big, because if you look at those players and the age they're in, they are, and also the quality that they have, it's only a matter of time before England win a World Cup or a European Championship, in the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, no, it's clearly, this is, they don't call it, but this is probably a better generation than their golden generation in terms of the depth these guys can bring on. Southgate is absolutely crazy, and they're ruthless. They've scored 9 goals, and look at the position where it's scored. They've been really, they don't waste shots. And I think Italy take almost double the shots. 18
but compare.
Shots per game.
Thank you for raising that. That's a really excellent point, and I'm glad that you're bringing up the Italy stat, because look at the positions where they take the shots.
Yeah,
those are look at put up the England thing. Look at that you can't miss from there.
No,
every time you finish in this position, you are 90% guaranteed to score. That's what Southgate has done. He's got them playing and putting them in positions where it's almost impossible to miss. Yeah, no, it's when you. I mean, of course, it's when you got that centrally, that close to the goal. These players are too good to miss those chances. So it's all about also where you can see chances, and where you create chances. And if you got the Italy graphic, I think that's
I don't have the Italy. Opta only posted the England one, but okay. Italy, we know, because Italy take double the shot. So you already know that Italy a little bit more speculative with their shooting. Mm-hmm. We know, we've seen Berardi, when he cuts in, he'll just have a pop. Just as soon as he cuts in. Insigne, we know the tira gir. He'll just try that. 3 or 4 times a match guaranteed. Immobile will try, we've seen he'll try speculative shots, whereas England, you see them less.
I think it's such a good point that you made there with Insigne and Berardi. This is the difference between a world-class player, Insigne, and a very good player, Berardi. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what Lorenzo Insigne is going to do, but they still fall for it because they can't stop him. Everybody knows what Domenico Berardi is going to do, yet they manage to stop him. That's the thing. Berardi, is a great player, but he's not world class. Lorenzo Insigne, same as Arjen Robben, everybody knew that Arjen Robben was going to do that. But no one could stop him because he was technically so brilliant and gifted, and he could shift his weight so easily that the defenders couldn't read him. They just never could get the timing right to stop him. Whereas Berardi is such a one-trick pony, but he's a one-trick pony that is a little bit lacking technically, and that makes it easier to defend. Whereas Federico Chiesa, I mean, he can do it all. He can go on the outside, can go on the inside. He's strong in the air, got a good shot on both feet. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between a world-class player and a very good player. I think it's a very good illustration.
Yeah, no, spot on, man. And there was a question about how can here it is from Indro. We talked about how England can hurt Italy. How can Italy hurt England? In my opinion, it's just pretty much what we did against Belgium. Keep them, asphyxiate them with our pressing, win the ball high up, like how Verratti won the ball back high up for the Barella goal. Play the game that we've been playing. Don't let the game being taken to us by England. Take the game to England, and that's, I think, how Italy can hurt this England team. What do you think?
I want to see Italy's high intensity passing, which they're second best in the world after Spain, and positional movement. I want to see them not make as many technical, individual, unforced errors as they have against Belgium and Spain, which we've seen a lot, which is very uncharacteristic of these players.
I think a lot of that was a bit of tiredness. Like Barella just looked dead to me. He looked like a zombie exhausted out there against Spain.
He was exhausted. He was absolutely exhausted. I want to see that, and I want to see them execute the game plan that they've done so brilliantly against, especially Switzerland. I thought that was just, Italy were flying against them. That's what I want to see. I want to see high intensity, but I don't want it to be so. I don't want them to go too high intensity so that they get tired. No, I want it to be a controlled demolition, if you will. I want them to controlled pressure, high pressure but controlled, and slowly but surely just increase the tempo. And it has to be through the midfield, the movement between the lines. This is a key. When you play a 5-4-1, 2 blocks like that, your movement between the lines from your attacking trio and midfield, and their ability to link up and pass quickly at one touch, not 2 touches, is going to be absolute key to rip apart this defense. Because I don't agree with many people that Italy can't score goals from midfield. I think this midfield has goals in it. I just think that they need to. They've not been able to put them in those positions. I think with Barella, that's a key attacking threat against a collective defense 5-4-1, 2 blocks. England. That's important.
I think with Barella is just he doesn't got that knack. Do you know what I mean? Like that timing of a run. I think maybe he'll develop that, but
yeah,
I hardly ever see him getting into the box at the right time, like just as the ball is coming in. Like he doesn't seem
not as much. I agree with you. I mean, we've seen that at Inter. We see it at times. We don't see it too often. I think against England that has to work. That has to be and even Verratti, he has to be able to move and not to and right now he's basically him and Jorginho are basically sharing the regista creativity role. And Verratti he's a much more dynamic player than Jorginho, so he needs to show that. If that doesn't work, and I saw someone hearing your comments say that, absolutely bring Manuel Locatelli on. Undoubtedly, you need to, because I mean Locatelli can create as a regista. He has that he has that creativity in him, but he's also such a dynamic player. So if Italy struggle to break England down, that is one of the first changes I'd make, is bring Manuel Locatelli on for Marco Verratti.
I was just trying to find that comment, can't find it, but Locatelli is such a good bench to have. We talked about obviously England have a crazy bench, man. Like England's substitute wingers and attackers could be their starters, honestly speaking. Sancho or Grealish or Rashford, all 3 of those guys could be starters, but it's they're really blessed in that department. Whereas Italy in that department, it's Chiesa, Insigne, and then there's a little bit of a drop off to Berardi, and then there's a big drop off to Bernardeschi.
Well, that's the thing about Bernardeschi. This is why Mancini loves him, and you saw that against Spain as well. No one's given him credit for that. The reason why Italy were able to stabilize again after Spain equalized was because Bernardeschi came on and provided a central balance for Italy, and they were able to again control and find their composure and find their shape. Bernardeschi has a lot of things, has a lot of good things and bad things. But one of the good things he does is he's a very tactically clever player. He's not technically gifted as much, but he's a tactically very good player. He understands where to drop, when to drop. His decision making is good. Where he looks a bit farcical and comical, it's the technical aspect. Where it's like, is this guy really a football player? It looks really ridiculous at times, some of the mistakes he makes. But his understanding of the game is really, really well. No,
Filippo, I mean Mancini's tested this out.
Federico, ti prego, no, dai.
I mean, when Zaniolo comes back, that's an experiment I would be interested to see, the Zaniolo false 9 experiment.
That, however, is something completely different, and I think that is absolutely something I want to see. I want to see Zaniolo as a false 9, undoubtedly, with Insigne and Chiesa. Now that's a tridente I like.
Yeah. But let's just hope that Zaniolo's knees can hold up. Let's just keep our fingers crossed for the World Cup 2022. The arrogance of the pundits is going to be out of this world if England win. I mean, it's already out of this world. You must have heard what Rio Ferdinand said, and a lot of their pundits are very confident about the England win. So let's go with the match prediction now, then, Nima.
It's so a shame. It's such a shame, isn't it? Because English football fans, I mean, most of them when I interact with them, they're not like the media and the pundits at all, because there's this arrogance and there's a lot of this notion of, this notion that you don't. It's okay not to be interested in a certain country's football culture. It's okay not to be interested in that. But then don't make these sweeping statements as if you're an authority on the subject when you clearly are not. I'm not very interested in French league football. But then again, I don't go around talking about it and claiming that I'm an expert when I'm not. And I don't say things about it which I don't understand. And make these predictions about and make this nonsense about Declan Rice being better than Jorginho as a regista, or when it's evident, or that Ciro Immobile when he was feigning injury, and that's an excellent example of Ciro Immobile's catenaccio. It's like what?
Oh my god!
Stop!
That was a funny day on Twitter, to be fair.
Yeah, and also and then talk about these tired old stereotypes that Italian players dive. Yeah. Whilst saying that Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane are intelligent and smart, street smart when they do it, it becomes so shallow. It becomes so transparent that this is just nonsense, to be honest. And it's so difficult to take it seriously. And I think it does England such a huge disservice, because this England side is a very good team, and they're also a very likable bunch of players. Whether it's Raheem Sterling today, and I think it was yesterday or today in Players Tribune, or Calvin Phillips talking about Calvin Phillips talking about his nan Val and her passing, or the legend that is Marcus Rashford. They're very likable people, and you want to like them, you want them to do well. Then Gareth Southgate is one of the few good people in football, and you want to like them. And then you have this stupid almost pride of being ignorant and shoving it in people's faces. That just rubs everyone the wrong way, and it does England such a disservice, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are supporting the rest of the world is supporting Italy in this match, which is nice. There's going to be 60,000 in Wembley, that probably majority English fans, but outside of Wembley, everywhere else in the world is going to be repping.
One
Italy
thing we have to raise, I think, before we go, is also the Wembley factor. I'm not worried that Italy's players are going to be affected by that at all. These are players who play for Juve, Milan, Napoli, Roma, Inter. Playing in hostile stadiums is what is.
And there's plenty Italians in the
but even if it's not, even if it was 100,000 people at Wembley, all English, it wouldn't matter to them, because they're used to that kind of hostile environment. What I'm worried about is Kuipers, the referee, that he stand up to the story, like to the Wembley factor, because already we've seen some things that are rather worrying, especially against Denmark, and also Kuipers and his track record against Italian teams. Incidentally, the only team, I did a thread on this on Twitter, I was looking it up.
Yeah, sorry.
The only Italian team that has a good results in terms of wins versus losses and draws is Juventus with Kuipers, which is absolutely hilarious in and of itself. But that's another story. I digress. But the rest, the rest of Italy, I mean, Milan, he completely screwed Milan. He completely screwed Inter. He completely screwed Genoa. Every time, it's time and time again with this guy. And it's just, I don't want, if I can wish for one thing, I do not want controversy. I don't want stupid refereeing decisions. I want this decided by these players and their manager on the sidelines. May the best team win.
Yeah, I don't want none of that stuff that went on against Denmark. I don't want to have to look at a penalty 55,000 times and being confused and about the decision, why it was made. And I hope the referees have had a good meeting. The VAR officials have had a meeting today or tomorrow to discuss everything, how things should be handled. Everything, because this is the Euro Championship final. It needs to be, they need to represent that in the proper way. And you're spoiling about the referee. You don't usually buy into the conspiracy theories and stuff, but then facts are facts. What's happened in the past kind of shows. I
mean, his Kuipers, what he did against Inter in the Champions League with Gladbach was just absurd. That was genuinely absurd. And Milan as well, giving a penalty before the ball was even in play. I remember watching that game. That was the first time in my life that a penalty has been given before the ball is in play. at that corner. I mean, it's just, I just hope he has a great day. Great, as Mourinho says, I hope that the referee also is a protagonista.
No, we don't want it. We don't want him to be a protagonista. We don't.
No, but he means protagonista in the sense that when he, that famous thing he had after that treble winning season, Milan derby, when he said his mentality aside of just 22 players, there are 25 players on the pitch, and all of them have to perform well. And he included the referees on that. And that's God, I cannot wait for the next Serie A. I mean, we're talking about the European final, but this, the man is just box office. I mean, it's just,
he is.
Spalletti,
quick thoughts on yesterday's little snipe.
But it's classic Mourinho. I would be disappointed if he didn't do it.
Exactly.
And the thing is, he does it so intelligently. He doesn't say Inter. He doesn't mention. He goes straight at Suning. Directly at them. We're not, we don't want to be champions who can't afford to pay wages. It's just, it's unfair because it's not true, because everybody struggled. But it's such a Mourinho thing to say. He doesn't miss. It's precision carpet bombing with him. He knows exactly what buttons to press.
He's a sniper in that press conference room.
He is a sniper. And that thing with Conte, I mean, that's just true.
Yeah, that's true. That was spot on.
No one, because what he said wasn't a snipe at Conte. He said at Roma, no one can be compared to Capello and Lidholm. At Inter, no one can be compared to me and Herrera. That is absolutely true. There's no, that's just facts. But so I didn't make, but I think a big part of me is kind of happy that Conte isn't around. I think for the sanity of the league, those two should not be allowed to coach at the same time in the Serie A.
Oh man, it would have been so good. It would have been absolutely
it would have been delicious. Like it would have been like for those of us who love that shit. That would, Inter Roma would have been spettacolo puro. Just Conte and Inzaghi's press conferences alone would have been. They already absolutely have ripped each other to shreds in the past. So it maybe that was Calcio God's way of saying you can't have too much of the good stuff, because the league would have imploded. They would have exploded. Those two should not. I remember when they weren't together in the Premier League, that they barely survived that in England. But in Italy, with all the history you've got, that would have it would have been fun. It would have been intense, but it would have been fun.
Yeah, no, it would have been so good, man. But yeah, let's end it, Nima, on the match prediction then. Is it coming home or is it coming Rome?
I said it on our podcast on the Italian football. I think England are going to win after extra time 2-1, and I think Harry Kane is going to score the winner. I really do. I think that Gareth Southgate is going to get his game plan spot on. I think that Mancini's going to be frustrated, and I think his inability to change games, because Southgate's confidence, he's got it right time and time again. Even when he's got it wrong, his ability to rectify that.
Yeah, he's been proving me wrong the whole tournament.
Whilst Mancini's been lucky. It's been absolutely lucky. That what against Belgium, Spinazzola saving it with the outside of his back heel and stuff like that's not tactics. That's just culo, as they say in Italy. That's just, and the same thing against Spain. Some of those saves that Donnarumma made, that's just him being fantastic. That's not tactical, because tactically he was outplayed. So I'm a little bit worried there. I really am, and I do have question marks around this. About this Italy team, but I hope they prove me wrong. I really do. The heart says 3-1 Italy, Ciro Immobile hat-trick, and Federico Chiesa hat-trick, and Ballon d'Or for Chiesa, but the brain says 2-1 England after extra time, Harry Kane the winner.
Well, honestly, I was going for a similar, because I said to you, I'm worried about the game physically, and the fact that Chiellini as well, playing another game, playing so many games in a row, which he hasn't done. He hasn't been able to do that all season for Juve. I just have this image of him pulling his hamstring or something midway through the game.
Nothing like that. Yeah, no, nothing like that. But I think Mancini knows that, and that I'm not worried about that. When it comes to preparation, the Italians are second to none. I think
Yeah.
all of them are basically they're leaving Chiellini and Bonucci alone to pretty much just go out there and stretch and just do yoga and all that stuff to kind of just recover. I don't think there'll be any intense training between now and these past few days for those two at least. I think the rest of them, the midfield especially, the rest of them will probably get you'll probably have them eating glass, as they say in Italy. Eating
but I'm still worried about them physically. Like, they just didn't look tip top against Spain. Obviously, those guys make you run around more than you normally would. But
that's the thing, though. England are more similar to Belgium than they are to Spain, and that's the saving grace here for me, because Italy were able to find a way through that. But England won't be able to play like Spain, so I'm not worried about it. If they do and they win, then congratulations,
But they've shown great game management. At the end of that Denmark match, that passage of play where they had the ball for 3 minutes straight, 50+ passes. No other England team I've ever seen do that kind of game management.
Never. That's the kind of thing that Italy have always been known for. I mean, Antonio Conte was known for this notion of lull your opponent into sleep and then just turn it on, and then they don't know what hit them. I mean, England had Denmark, like they were really, they really had them suffocating them like an anaconda, slowly squeezing more and more. Denmark were so tired by the end of that; they looked dizzy. So you got to give it to them. Now that's where I fear that England are going to win. I think the game management is where I think Southgate is better.
All right.
And also Harry Kane. He is good. I mean, he's on 5 goals, isn't he? 5 goals, isn't he? He wants to win that top goal scorer. He scored, was it twice against? Wasn't it? What was it?
No, I think he's got
twice.
4. I think he's got 4. Wait, let me.
He scored twice against Ukraine, one against Germany, and one against. Did he score once or twice against? No, once.
He's got 4. Yeah, he's got 4.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to win that Golden Boot, and I think the key is there. I think he's going to score 1 at least. So yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting. Or Federico Chiesa has one of those, glitch games in FIFA where he's just like, I don't know, the love child of Messi, Maradona, and Pelé, and scores 5 goals or something crazy at Wembley. We can hope. I don't think so, but we can hope.
We can hope. So that's why I'm going for even though my brain says England win like you 2-1 after extra time, I'm going to go for Italy win. I'm going to Mancini's big game trophy winning experience pulling us through. Bonucci and Chiellini coming through. Barella stepping up, showing the world who he is. Not that Spain match. This is the real Barella will show up. Immobile will score 1. And I think Bonucci or Chiellini will score 1 from a set piece, a header. So I'm going for a 2-1 Azzurri win. That's it.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Yes. But yeah, Nima, man, that was a fun, very hopefully insightful preview for everyone. Thank you for joining me, man, and
absolute pleasure.
Away to everything that you do, which is a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been pretty fucking intense. Sorry for swearing, but I'm pretty exhausted. I'm really looking forward.
The TV in the house as well. Shut, bro.
Hey, no, I'm really looking forward to just having the Mercato for the next month to deal with, because it's been really intense, and I'm really exhausted.
Yeah, so you have your, obviously you got Sempreinter.com where you guys can check out Inter news, and then you got your own podcast, the Italian football podcast, right, where you guys do interviews and guests and things like that.
Yeah, no, we have we do a minimum 2 shows. That's what we do. We do a minimum 1 on Monday during the regular season. And Monday show is a review show and just general hot topic show, and then the Thursday interview. Gladly come back. Thanks. No, and then the Thursday episode, we do an interview with someone in football, or someone who's in the world of football, or someone who's played for in Italy, or someone who's coached or still plays, or someone like former boxing world. We've had 2 former boxing world champions on, Poli Marinacci, Joe Calzaghe. We've had, for those of you in Britain, we've had a super famous chef, Aldo Zilli. He was a massive
I like that episode.
Yeah. So we try to do it like that, the interview portion on a Thursday, and then like that. But this time around, we've been just pumping it out because Italy's been doing so well. So thanks. Pleasure was mine. And you keep doing what you do. I love what you do on the Anka Sharma channel, yaar. I love it.
That's it, Hannah. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining the stream. Yeah, it was really fun, really informative. Hopefully my prediction is correct and not Nima's one.
Yeah,
and
I hope so too.
Yeah, make sure you guys join me for my post-match. It depends. If Italy win, then don't be surprised if my stream is delayed, because I'll probably be celebrating. If we lose, I'll be on straight afterwards to share my sorrows. So yeah, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, check out Nima's social media and all the stuff. I've left it down in the description below. And Forza Azzurri, Forza Inter.
Forza Italia, Forza Inter, Forza Italia. Ciao.